Hey everybody, and welcome to TMD's The Marine Doctor's Tech News channel. I want to welcome everyone that might be new, and remember, hit that like and or subscribe button, and I would appreciate any feedback, positive or negative, with regards to the stream and or the content, or if you'd like to reply about something that we talk about, that would be even better. What we're going to talk about today is Evinrude discontinues E-tec. I know that this happened back May and I'm a little bit behind on my news, but I think this is something that we needed to talk about. There were several reasons that this happened, or people believe that it happened, and I did a little searching around the internet because I live in a city, but it's a small city with really one Evinrude dealer, and they were kind of hush-hush and or didn't really know much about what was going on. So I did some research with regards to checking around on the internet, seeing what Google had to say, and I checked with our Mercury rep to see if he knew anything, and he kind of said the same thing that these people were saying on the internet. So I think that would be a good place to start. There's one fella, he was talking about how he'd worked for a dealership for about 10 years, and mentioned, of course, that he's biased about the product, which is fantastic, right? You know, he's obviously going to be in favor of the product and be a little more skeptical with what he's going to say. Let's just say it that way. Anyway, he said a botched launch in 2014 of the 300 horsepower E-tec G2, something that was supposed to take 18 months, took 5 years to complete, and had a bunch of stuff wrong with it when it originally came out. Now, let's back up because I want to explain something as well. OMC, so the Outboard Marine Corporation, ran into problems a lot of years ago. Financial problems, yes, but the higher-ups made some bad decisions on some products and some research and development. So one was the Cobra drive. It was a mess. And number two was the Stinger drive. That was a mess. And they moved into the Fit technology, which is great technology, but it didn't pan out. So I want to say that at that particular time, Mercury themselves also had issues with their Optimax engine. It was little things. It wasn't that it was a complete disaster. So OMC gets sold off to Bombardier, becomes E-tec with regards to the Fit engine, and E-tec comes a long ways with the product. Huge changes, great product, but faced a lot of negative issues with regards to the stuff that had happened before. Unfortunately, Bombardier didn't see fit to let a lot of the staff go from the original OMC corporation. They left them in charge to again make the same mistakes twice. And the reason that I'm saying that is he goes on to mention in his second statement, the OMC, Old Boys Club, still existed. Now, what that means is, again, they kept the same staff. The same staff had their same ideas, and they wanted to push their own ideas on everyone and weren't really open to the innovation. In saying that, I do want to say that Bombardier did some great things. Like if you look at the picture, even there's a whole different. Like you could sub in different cowlings. You could make your engine unique. They did a lot of cutting edge things that Mercury or other manufacturers haven't done. But one of the other things that they didn't do was make a big horsepower engine. Right? We can clearly see it says 300 horsepower on there, but that was 300 horsepower at a time that Mercury had already moved on to a 4-stroke 450, 500, and now 600 horsepower. So they were being left behind, which is really unfortunate. Number 3, he says that the power sports company BRP or Bombardier didn't really do very much with the marine side of things. They're more into Sea-Doo, Ski-Doo, and Can-Am because obviously more people ride sleds or ride the quads or the Can-Am sports type thing. There's more people that use those versus selling an engine, right? You've got an engine or something that can maybe use like the Can-Am stuff can be used year round. There's just more money to be made there. So I can understand his point of view with regards to that, saying that maybe not enough people were interested in engines or in the marine side. And moving on with some of my own experiences here is I did hear a lot of issues with the E-tec G2, which was again really unfortunate and offered up the demise of Evinrude, along with I lost my train of thought. COVID-19. So that would have been the final nail in the coffin, and they just eventually shut the doors, claiming that 360 people lost their jobs or whatever number they came up with. Obviously, it was a lot higher because there were dealerships that would have, maybe had guys that were specific to E-tec and would have to retrain them to Mercury and so on and so forth. And, they created a lot of problems in the industry. Moving on from there, what did Mercury have to say about this other than probably get damn excited about what was happening? So they don't really come out and directly say that, but this agreement brings us an incredible opportunity to further grow our brand in the marketplace and introduce our award-winning portfolio of outboard engines to new customers around the world. In other words, Mercury was doing a little bit of a dance because they just lost one of their major rivals with regards to engines and the marine industry. Now, a huge win for Mercury, but not really a win for the public. Now, I say that because without competition, there's no real reason to make improvements. And I could actually even back up on that a little bit and say that Mercury has come out with that new V12 engine, 600 horsepower, fantastic engine, but it's not for the local folk, right? Those are people that own large boats, run on big water, professional fishermen, so on and so forth. So the average user is never going to see that. I'm probably not going to see it in service school either. Well, no, wait, I should see it in service school. I'll never see one on the water. I rarely see anything higher than 200 horsepower where I am. There's just no real need for it. So where do we go from here? Mercury's all happy. E-tec not. E-tec owners are not. What do you guys think? I got some questions for you guys if you guys wouldn't mind replying down in the bottom there. What are your thoughts with regards to E-tec being gone? Number two, I think this is an important one. What about parts? Parts and availability of parts. Are they going to run for their 7 years and then just cut them out? Was COVID a valid reason for them to leave? Or was that just smoke and mirrors on a corporation or a company that just wanted to pull the pin irregardless because they weren't making enough money or for whatever reason? Oh, one other thing I wanted to touch on. They've got 3 boat lines, Alumacraft, Manitou, and Tellwater that Mercury took over and is happily putting engines on. A while back, and I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but Mercury went out and bought up a whole bunch of boat lines so that they could specifically put their engines on. Your thoughts? Did Mercury choke them out? Did the big dollars that Mercury have choke E-tec out? That's another approach that I wouldn't mind people writing about and letting me know. But anyway, I want to thank everyone for watching, and I hope to see you guys here soon again. And stay safe, and remember, subscribe and hit that like button. Thank you.